everybody, welcome to GeekStorm. I'm Sean Hilton. Today I am joined by one of my very best friends in the whole wide world, Lauren Gray, who's just celebrated her birthday. She is 25 yet again for, I don't know how many times, but a couple, I would suppose. So somebody, your age actually did come up in like a real conversation. Well, how old's Lauren? I'm like, I don't know. Like, well, I mean, ballpark, I don't know. Can you get close? No, probably not. I don't work at Kings Island. I got no clue. You're a lot younger than me, right?
I wouldn't say a lot.
A lot, you know, because you're a little younger than Nick, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like 10 years older than Nick, I think. So I'm 47. I'm at 48. I'm somewhere in that area. I don't know. Math, it's hard.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, welcome to GeekStorm. Hey.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Geeky stuff. Man, there's a lot of stuff going on. Of course, Mike's not here, so we can actually talk about some different things that Mike's not going to just on and on about or create some stupid, gimmicky thing that doesn't make any sense. No children being involved. It's just a nightmare dealing with him. He had 2 kids on the other day, and it was like in the back of my head, I'm like, how is this different than any other time I film with you, Mike? But crazy stuff going on in the world. I know we just had a bunch of Academy Award nominations and stuff, but if you don't mind, and unless you were really into it, Mike loves to talk about that. And if we don't save that for him, then I don't know what he'll have to go on and on about.
That's true. Yeah, that's
unless there's something you're dying to talk about, I'm like,
no, I'm good.
Whatever. Hey, in the world of dead people, man, we had some deaths this week. Woo!
We had some not deaths, too.
We did. We started off with Scream Queen Julie Strain, who was once married to the younger of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle creators, famous throughout the late 80s and through the mid-90s, doing Scream Queenie type stuff when they were super popular. She was announced dead by a production company that I believe has done some work with her, only to find out less than 24 hours later, no, she's not dead.
Alive and kicking.
Yeah, is that weird? I mean, don't get me wrong, we see these internet hoaxes. You know, I don't know how many times Will Smith's been dead.
Yeah.
I have publicly stated I won't believe Jackie Chan is dead until maybe I've actually touched the body with a stick. But Julie Strain is a B queen. I mean, in the world of actors and actresses, and this isn't to be rude to her, it's just, I mean, you know, putting it out there, she's like a C-list type person. Nobody knows who this person is unless you're into the hobby or you're a geek, you know. I know her because of my involvement in the comics community. She used to do a lot of comic shows. She was, as I said, married to, I believe it was it Eastman or Laird? I think it was Eastman. She was married to the younger of the two. And she was the model for a lot of things, including the Heavy Metal 2, the sequel, things like that. But I'm like, who's faking her death? Like, who's coming up with this nonsense? I'm like, all right. I honestly, I didn't bother to double check. I'm like, oh, well, if she's dead, that's sad. I mean, that really is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
They'd have, you know, of course, Harris would be like, she's not dead, she's alive. And I'm like, what are you talking? So I had to go back and look it up. But then the company came out and said, hey, yeah, we heard from a very reliable source that she passed away. And I'm like, might want to check your sources. That's why I got dead.
Yeah.
In the world of wrestling, Rocky Johnson, who's got the nickname of Soul Man, I know Mr. Rocky Johnson's work. I've seen him. I guess I didn't know him as well as I thought I did because I honestly didn't know about this Soul Man.
I'd never heard of it.
Attachment. I've never heard that before. But he passed away at the age of 75. Legendary in the WWE Hall of Fame. But in today's world, probably best known as being Dwayne Johnson, The Rock's father. So, yeah.
Yeah. Christopher Tolkien.
Yes.
Passed away.
Are you a big Tolkien fan? Tolkien? Tolkien? Is that it?
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy The Lord of the Rings. There are some other...
Have you ever read them?
Yes.
Really? You got me beat, because my geek card doesn't get punched. Hobbit? Yes. First 2 or 3 chapters of that first book? Yes. After that, I've got some college. I was like, not for me. And I'm a hardcore fantasy guy, but I'm like, nah. And I respect it. I get that that's the source material from which most of the stuff that I love comes from. But honestly, man, that was dry. I could not get through it. Well, Christopher Tolkien was the 3rd son of J.R.R. Tolkien, creator of the Lord of the Rings,
universe,
Hobbit, all that stuff. But his Christopher here was the executor of his literary estate, handled all that stuff. And after his father died, he was paramount in keeping the Lord of the Rings material fresh. He went in and was the guy who cultivated all of the handwritten notes from different things, put it all together. It was he that basically finished off the writing and the collation of the Silmarillion. He's the one that corrected the maps, because I guess he was a little dad. J.R.R. might have been a little like Conan Doyle when it came to some of his facts and stuff. Things moved around, names got reversed and changed. So Christopher went in, changed all that stuff. And the thing I found interesting when I was doing just a little quick Google on him, and I'd heard this a long time ago, back when they were filming those movies with Peter Jackson, of course, made billions, made the estate billions, because how many times now?
Yeah.
Those books there was a couple of books on a shelf somewhere at a Barnes & Noble. Now they have 20 years later, an entire rack still. It's like him and George R.R. Martin just own 2 sections of real estate.
The entire fantasy.
He didn't like those movies. He was against them. In fact, brought legal suit against, was it Paramount? Whoever owns them and had produced them, saying they owed him 80 million pounds. And it wasn't until negotiations that the Hobbit thing actually got approved from the estate. And I would imagine there was a big paycheck cut to make all that happen. So, the thing I think brought a lot of people to the franchise was the movies. And the guy who was really the king of everything was like, yeah, I don't like those. So his comment was something like, they made an action movie for 16 to 25-year-olds or something like that, and left out the heart of the book. And I'm like, well, I wouldn't know because I can't get through it. So those are the 3 major deaths that I have followed. What else you got in the world of geekdom today?
Did you hear about the Watchman news?
Yeah, this is the HBO television, or the HBO series, not the movie.
Correct.
I haven't seen it yet. Somebody has done me a favor and got me the ability to watch it in a condensed form kind of situation. So I am going to check it out. From the people I've talked to, they liked it quite a bit.
Yes.
But what is the news?
Lindelof, the showrunner, has basically said, and I believe early on he has said it's going to be a self-contained story. He wants to do this story and then he's done. He walked away. HBO's like, yeah, it's done, monies, it's done all of this stuff. We want to do a 2nd season. And so he was like, nope. And
well, I would assume that HBO has the full rights to it, though. If they wanted to, they could be like, yeah, it's nice that you created it, but we're going to take the money and run.
He actually gave them their blessing. He's like, if you want to continue, Godspeed, but it's not going to be with me.
And they just decided to not do it.
They go through showrunners. They're like, it's fine.
Hearing stuff like that makes me happy, because I like the fact that a creator is getting their say in something.
Yes.
And they're not being, trodden over. But it also makes me think, because of all of the options available to anybody that can prove they've got the talent now. I mean, the Game of Thrones guys, I think, are one of the big guys that show, throw us a lot of money now. Somebody. Just walk out. It's over. Throw us a lot of money. Okay, here's a lot of money. This guy, the Watchman show, was obviously popular. Got a saying. He's done. He can walk out now and go, Netflix, Disney Plus, Apple TV, Peacock, CBS All Access,
he's done.
HBO now. There's a lot of options. So I'm glad to see that maybe the studio and these other production companies are realizing that if we treat these showrunners like crap, they will go elsewhere and create something for somebody else.
And that's exactly what happened with American Gods. So, the first season was phenomenal, loved it. The 2nd season, it was just bad, because they fired the showrunner. They fired the guy who did Pushing Daisies. He was the showrunner.
Oh, I love the guy.
I can't think of his name right now, but they fired him. Gillian Anderson walked because they fired him. They fired Orlando Jones as Mr. Nancy. It's just, it's a train wreck over there. And I think that's, what The Watchmen could have been had HBO tried to pigeonhole him into Stars.
Stars. So they screwed the pooch on this one.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, again, it's just pretty, I'm like, all these people just walked. You just lost a showrunner that had given you something that I assume that you liked.
Oh, yeah, it was fantastic.
Gillian Anderson just said thanks and went over to Netflix and got a paycheck.
Yep.
I'm sure now that this thing made Orlando Bloom a little more...
Jones.
Jones, sorry. Bloom was another guy, right?
Yeah. Bloom is Legolas.
Gotcha. We're still on that Lord of the Rings thing in my head, and I'm like, all right, lend me a dwarf. But I imagine now that's just made him more marketable. It's like, Stars, thanks. Now we're going to scatter, and we're all going to get paid. And guess what? there goes the ratings of your show. It'll be over. Does it even get a third season, or is it done?
I think they did a third season, but it's just like even Neil Gaiman, the creator of the novel, was like, I don't know why. I loved you as Mr. Nancy. Like, I don't know what they're doing over there.
Wow.
But now he's doing Sandman, so it's okay.
It's okay. Yeah. Hey, you want another gig instead? Just come, you know. So yeah, I mean it's a thing now. There's a lot of options, and keeping creative talent happy, I think is the way to go. And that leads right into Mindhunters at Netflix.
Yes.
Same exact kind of a thing is going on right now. Fincher has come out. The creator, showrunner of that, I believe, has come out and said, you know, I'm doing something called Mank, and a TV series for Netflix, and I don't have time to work on Mindhunter right now.
Yeah.
And all the major actors, the assets, hate to say it, they're all assets, they're all under contract. So they're finally like, you know what, we release you from the contracts, go get work.
Yeah.
But here's my thinking about that, because people are upset, they really like the show. Netflix knows that eventually, maybe a year, maybe 2, maybe 3 years, those projects will get done. Fincher will find out, you know, they'll finish up, they'll either be successful or not.
Yeah.
But there's a chance he's going to want to go back to this. And in my opinion, absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Yeah.
And because of the way that these streaming services work with their seasons, they're not like a traditional television series where, you know, every fall we get the new one and there's 3 months off. Some of these shows, it's like 3 months there's a new season. Some of them, it's over a year and there's a new season. It's all over the place. They're not such situated. So yes, this Fincher's going to walk for a while. He's going to work on his other projects, I believe, for Netflix.
Yeah.
But those 3 actors, those assets, does Netflix really want them getting away too far with their rumored to have $17 billion slated to spend in 2020 on new content? I'll be like, any actor that I don't want going over to film for ABC or HBO, I'm like, don't stick around. Just stick around. You know what? Take a vacation. Here's a bonus on that out of contract thing, and I bet they all got something.
Probably.
You know, take a 2-week vacation with the family and wait by the phone because your agent's gonna be calling you. So I think a lot of that stuff's important. So that one is right now done, and we'll see what happens. But I mean, the way it ended, there was closure for the most part. The story was wrapped up, so it'll be interesting to see where they go with it in the future.
Yeah.
So, what else you watching? What's good? What new and interesting things are going on in the world?
Not a whole lot.
Yeah?
I watched on Netflix AJ and the Queen.
What is it, AJ and the Queen? Is that like a BJ and the Bear?
Not really. No, it's
no.
RuPaul's show.
Oh, that seems very different.
It is very different.
I would watch RuPaul do a version of BJ and the Bear. See RuPaul in a giant semi truck trying to get away from a crooked cop all the time.
It's close. She's in an RV for most of the show.
So did she just take like a version of Drag Race and bring it over to Netflix and say, write me a bigger check?
No, but there is something like that. It's called the Dragula. But
Dragula.
No, this is a drama.
Oh, okay.
Hour-long episodes.
Oh, so this is like this isn't a reality
it's
show.
It's like no, it's a
scripted.
I'm
sorry, I thought. Okay.
No, it's.
Now is she playing Is he RuPaul or is he? I don't know how's that work, because he is RuPaul.
Oh, is he?
Is that his acting name?
In the show, so for like movies and stuff, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
honestly didn't know that.
But he is playing a character this time around.
Okay.
A man who is a drag queen. Okay. He gets frauded and loses all of his money basically, and so he goes on this road trip to try to get more money doing drag shows all throughout, the United States.
Okay.
But a girl lives above him, and she is always like trying to steal his money and everything. She's like 9.
9 years old?
Yeah.
The 9-year-old's trying to rip off the neighbor?
He goes, this is like all in the first episode, he goes upstairs to her, and the apartment's completely empty. Her mom got evicted and abandoned her.
Oh,
and
wow.
so she's been like trying to steal money to survive basically. So
so she's like an evil orphan Annie.
kind of. Okay. He finds her a place to stay with his roommate while he's going on this tour, but she finds out that the tour ends in Texas, and that's where her grandfather lives, so she sneaks onto the RV. Okay. And so at the end of the first episode, it's like what are you doing here? And
let's check that out.
It was fun.
RuPaul is such an interesting character, and that's why, as I said, I'm a little confused because I'm so used to him being RuPaul, but I also know that that's a stage name. But obviously, no, but that's like what Cher, Madonna kind of thing. He's now RuPaul like in the credits.
Yeah, RuPaul is his legal name.
Okay.
And so when he's in drag, it is Mama Ru or RuPaul.
Okay.
And it's just kind of like a Cher thing.
Okay, I'm just used to him being in that persona.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about it, I'm just assuming it's like Elvira doing a road show. It's like RuPaul.
It kind of
Has
is
Elvira ever been a judge on?
Twice.
That's great. 'Cause I can see them just getting along. I would watch like some kind of buddy cop show with Elvira and RuPaul. I would set up to watch that. That'd be great. So because they're both all punny and stuff.
She had all of their and those 2 episodes where she judges
Are they great?
puns galore.
I love it.
But she had a lot of her contestants, her queens from the reality show, are like being queins that are like dressing up,
so has
getting
Alaska
ready in the
showed up
thing.
yet?
So yes, actually.
That's great. Well, very cool.
Yeah.
Back to Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
It appears that even though Mr. Christopher has died, and I have not finished the books ever in my life, and that those movies, if you start watching them now, by 2021, you might be finished with all the extended cuts.
Yeah.
That wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Amazon has decided we're doing a TV show. Now, have you followed anything about this?
A little bit. I've seen the casting news, and I know enough to know that it's not taking place like during the actual books. It takes place in, I think, the Second Age.
Okay, so it's going to follow some of the material probably that Christopher Tolkien worked on. So this is, I'm not seeing, I might see some of these guys because some of them live for frickin' ever.
Yeah.
But, so it's not, I'm not getting the Gimli, I'm not getting a retread of Peter Jackson's material in a TV show
it's
even
way
longer.
before that stuff occurs. I think it's going to take place like, I don't know for sure.
Okay. Now I saw there's casting, we have a whole bunch of names. I don't know a single one of those names on the list.
Yeah.
But I was reading somewhere a report that basically like all the B-level guys from Game of Thrones got their pink slips from Game of Thrones and then just got, again, hey, stay by the phone, take 2 weeks off, and you Lord Ring thing, you want in on that? And a bunch of people went over.
Yeah.
So is that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
All right. So if you're a big Game of Thrones fan, some of your favorite characters might be
Could be
coming over. Some of your favorite B characters.
I would say not
none of the big guys. They're all out.
Yeah.
You know, Kit Harington's too busy becoming Marvel Universe's new Black Knight.
That is true. Yes.
Very cool. So, in the world of trailers, I think the big last week, man, we had so many trailers to talk about. But this week, it was definitely dominated by the arrival of Morbius.
Yes.
Did you see it?
I did.
Go.
Can I spoil the ending? Is it
Yeah,
going to
I
be good
don't care.
enough to do that?
Talk about whatever you want. It's a trailer.
Well,
you're going to get spoilered on a trailer. I don't know what to tell people.
Well, it was a big reveal.
It was pretty cool.
That was shocking to see. Vulture just out of nowhere. Hey, Michael Keaton. Like, oh, okay, that's where we're going. I liked it. I like Jared Leto, so
I'm good with Jared Leto. I think he's an excellent actor. I wasn't happy. I wasn't fond of his performance as the Joker, but I don't know if that was him or if it was just that version of the hipster Joker, that new age Joker.
Well, I feel like in Suicide Squad they were all going for like a certain kind of look for all of those characters,
and then even behind the scenes stuff where I'm hearing he's sending like dead rats to people and stuff in character, I'm just like, you might have taken this a little bit too far, dude. So there's getting into it. I can understand, but
I still like him.
Yeah. As I said, I think he's got chops. We've seen him in some stuff where he's done really, really good work. He looks pretty cool. The trailer itself did not give me like a low budget kind of vibe from this. He looked good as himself, being all raggedy. I don't know what he is, that dirty pretty that my wife probably digs. If he was a little more built, I'm sure I'd have to be a little worried. But then when he does the Morbius thing in the transformation phase as well, he looks really good. A lot of stuff they're talking about seems cool. And then again, at the very end, when you see the Michael Keaton piece, you're just like, all right, they're finally doing some stuff.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of out of left field too, because that was like all, the dark and the brooding and the, all these shots and music, and then all of a sudden it's, oh, okay, that really hits you here in the Marvel Universe, and this is what we're doing.
That's good on them. I think it's a good use of that, and it now finally starts to bridge their universe out of the Marvel universe. You know, everything we've seen in those other movies, it's Marvel. It's it's the Marvel Cinematic Universe basically with a rented character. But then when you see Morbius, which isn't going to be a Marvel Cinematic Universe kind of thing, and they're bringing in that character, it's a great tie-in. And then it makes you wonder. I was reading some crazy fan theory that if they were going to do something, they would do a live-action Spider-Verse to build towards a Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield,
I'd watch it.
Version with them all coming together. Yeah. And I'm like, man, I don't know that you get Garfield to do it. I would think he might still be a little salty. I could see him being a little upset with that.
Yeah.
But overall, that trailer did a much better job than.
You might also want to check this.
Say like a New Mutants trailer and things of that nature did initially. The second trailer for New Mutants I liked quite a bit. Last week, me and your husband talked about New Mutants trailer and how it had the big Marvel thing up on it. Of course, Harrison and the producer pointed out that that's on everything no matter what. What they didn't bother to bring up, though, was the fact that Disney itself released something that said the next exciting installment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the New Mutants. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is the self-contained thing that we've come to know as the Avengers and whatnot. Spider-Man isn't necessary. He's the step kid that comes to visit the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But those X-Men movies are not part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. None of that is. That was very quickly taken down. So it's like, all right, is there some big crazy plan that they're going to try to shoehorn this in? Or is it just some employee that typed it all up, hit enter, and then the boss is like 2 hours later going, hey, Phil, pack up your crap, get out of the building. IT's coming down to take your computer. Ugh. And so now fans are like back and forth, like, is this a legit kind of a thing? I mean, my thinking is it's probably not.
There's been rumors about like they're going to reboot X-Men, they're going to reboot Fantastic Four. There's a rumor last week that Tom Holland is going to make an appearance in the second Venom movie. So
I can see that.
Who knows?
It's an interesting thing. I think with this, Feige wasn't involved. I don't buy it. I think some employee just typed some stuff and wasn't really thinking and probably did get his thing handed to him. As for Venom and Tom Holland, well, that's a Sony thing. Marvel gets a little bit of a say, I would suppose, and the new deal and all that. But in the end, Sony's going to make that call. And I think not having Tom Holland show up at some point in some kind of cameo role as Spider-Man is just silly. They need, even if it's just Tom Holland as Peter Parker, before he's called out in the second movie at the end, walking down the street and passing by Eddie Brock, and they both like have spider sense thing, like what's going on. Something like that would be perfect. But however they want to do it, you know what? As a fan, I'm just excited to see where they're gonna go with it. So, yay!
Absolutely.
Let's see here. Oh man, you got 3 kids and 2 little girls who are at the perfect age. So Baby Yoda is coming to Build-A-Bear.
Yep. You know what? I don't even think that's for children. The Baby Yoda. There's gonna be adults lining up to make the Baby Yodas.
Like me and my wife had like 4 or 5 Build-A-Bears, and we didn't get them until we were probably late 20s, early 30s, and we were going there every couple of months and. It's a fun little thing to do.
It is.
But Baby Yoda,
the girls love it.
Like this is just printing money.
Oh yeah.
The only problem is just like how long do you wait? And that's some of the talk. How long do you think we have until we see? They showed a prototype.
Yeah.
Like the CEO held up something, then said something political that didn't make any sense to me. But regardless of that, they've got the prototype. It looks about the right, perfect size.
Yep.
It looks pretty good for a stuffed, felty kind of a thing. But how long to wait to really maximize profit?
I don't think they should wait long.
Yeah.
I think the Disney announcing that Baby Yoda merch isn't coming until May, June, they said, or something like that. I think that's way too long. I think you put it out in a month or two.
Gotcha. How hard
capitalize
can it be?
on it.
My other thinking is do you put it out now while it's still super hot, or do you do the traditional wait right before they
wait till
release
Mandalorian
the second
season 2
and then make sure you have your Baby Yoda for the premiere.
That's what I say. I would say either the month before Mandalorian drops, or you do it now. But
even better with the world of technology, because I don't think it's a secret you work at Best Buy.
Yeah.
If I was them, I'd be the guy licensing some kind of Baby Yoda thing. Maybe not a stuffed plushie, but something a kid could play with and hold that would have an interactive QR kind of thing. So watch the first episode of Mandalorian with your baby Yoda, and its eyes will light up in the right places.
They kind of make those toys now.
Oh, do they?
Not Baby Yoda, but I say there's this Netflix show called The Beat Bugs. It's a kids show.
Okay.
My girls love it. It's Beatles songs, but like set to a show that shows you like, good morals and stuff like that. Like there's always a story around the song. They have these toys that if you are watching Beat Bugs while you have your Beat Bugs toy, the toy sings along. Like it recognizes that it's watching the episode.
There needs to be.
And it starts singing. It freaked me out because I didn't know it had that ability to do it. And so I'm just, the toy's sitting next to me, we're watching it, and all of a sudden the toy starts singing, and I was like,
Lauren!
And it was singing along, like word for word, with the Beatles song that the characters are singing. It freaked me out. So they have that technology. There's an ability to do it.
Somebody needs to do the Baby Yoda with that. It doesn't have to talk. It just needs to make the weird sounds, the cooing thing. And when it sees itself, it smiles. That's right. Cha-ching. Little cashier sounds coming out of it, and a little receipt.
I think you
comes
just stumbled on $1 million idea
there.
there.
Man, that makes so much money. It's crazy. There's a new show out called Zoes Extraordinary Playlist. Have you seen this one? First episode's all over Hulu. So last night I watched it because my wife wasn't feeling good. I'm like, well, I'll suck up something lame.
Yeah.
And it's a musical TV show.
Yeah.
So a woman who seems to be anti-musical, kind of like anti-music even.
Yeah.
Ends up having headaches and some weird stuff, goes and has an MRI. During the MRI, the guy's like, hey, what do you want to listen to? She's like, oh, I don't care. And so he puts on something, there's an earthquake, and all of a sudden,
while she's in the MRI,
she all of a sudden has this fit, weird stuff happens, and now people kind of break into the Buffy thing, where they just start singing
Gallivant.
their feelings and what they're really thinking on the inside. But when it's done, they have no clue. She gets it. So she's basically, in the very first episode, starts using the information that they're singing about that they're not telling her, but they're singing to her. Because when they're done, again, they have no idea what just happened. And it's not even like a how'd I get here thing. It's just like they continue on, whatever. And so it was actually interesting. Some of the music was all over the place. Some of it was a little on the nose. But
I'll check that out.
It was cute.
Check that out.
Cool. I watched The Deputy. That was another one that was on Hulu. It was a weird version of the right wing meets the left wing in a John Wayne thing.
All right.
So it's like, I'm a John Wayne badass from LA kind of a dude. He's Steven Dorff, all scruffy, manly. I don't follow the rules and whatnot. But the very first thing is like an ice raid. And he basically breaks it up and ruins it. And his thing is, I don't care how they got here. Our thing is serve and protect. They're here. We serve and protect them. And, that's kind of this thing, I'm a big badass, but then, goes very hardcore against what you would think of as the conservative kind of viewpoint, but still in, this, I'm a badass that will
Dorff?
beat your ass kind of way. Yeah. It's very interesting. I was like, all right, this is a little confusing, but interesting and cool. And so they've got, I think it was 2 episodes out so far.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. If you need that kind of manly version of Texas Walker Ranger with Steven Dorff beating people's asses and shooting people.
I'm good.
If not, skip it.
I'm good.
So, what else we got on this list here? We got a couple seconds. Oh, I definitely want to talk about this. Rumor has it that on our rumor section now, Taika Waititi is being pinged for possibly a Star Wars project.
Yeah.
Now, that's all they're talking about. It's a rumor. But him coming off of 6 or 7 Academy Award nominations for Jojo Rabbit, Disney supposedly loving him from his work on Thor, not just because Thor made a ton of money, but I guess, according to everything I'm hearing, he runs an incredibly fun set. The actors love him, love working with him. His creative output is great. He's obviously, he's got some acting chops playing IG-88 and, is it Crom? Or whatever the Rocky dude is from Thor. Yeah, he does him. He does several things like that. So
didn't he direct an episode of The Mandalorian?
He directed the final episode of Mandalorian, which of course a lot of people loved.
Yeah.
So, but on top of that, the Wilder people, Thor. He's doing the second Thor coming up. He's got a lot of sway right now. But what I really like about hearing about this, especially off of the fact that Deborah Chow is now kind of the big force behind Obi-Wan, she directed 2 episodes of The Mandalorian. So right now, it kind of seems to me that the Favreau-Filoni team-up is starting to already seed out new creative talents that are starting to slowly take over some of these projects.
Yeah.
So whereas it's a rumor, I think Taika Waititi is probably the perfect creative talent to give us an actual original Star Wars.
Oh, yeah, for
Not
sure.
taking a character that's already developed, giving us some new characters, which is, I think, one of the problems that happened with these last 3 movies and how they were accepted. So if you just given us a brand new thing with Easter eggs, like Mandalorian, I think that would have gone over incredibly well.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
there you go. Well, we're going to talk about a comic, but we're out of time. And yeah, so there you go. Anything you want to finish up with?
No.
No?
I'm good.
Nothing?
Yeah, I got it.
I really like your lipstick.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Come on down to Kokomo's downtown area. Check out Geek Street. We start over at Comics Cubed. You walk on down here to Kokomo Toys and Collectibles. Right next to us is American Dream and Hi-Fi. And right next to them is Chapter 2 Books. All within a couple hundred feet. You've got geeky goodness everywhere you can go. Comics to toys to used records to used books. It's all covered. All 4 stores are constantly buying new product, laying out fat cash to buy the items that you are finding growing dusty in your house and you just want to turn into some quick money. Bring it on down to Geek Street and get our opinion. Even if we don't find something we want, we can at least give you some information about what its value might actually be. So, stop on by. I'm Sean Hilton. I was joined by my good friend
Lauren Gray.
We had a great time talking to you today. Check us out next week when it'll be me and hopefully another Gray. Be groove, everybody.